Good morning. It's Jordan, the 1031 Doctor. And today we're going to be looking at some automotive deals I found on Crexi. These are newly listed deals that I think might be of interest to you. And I think one of them is pretty good, actually. The 1031 Doctor has been buying, building, selling, leasing triple net investments across the country since 1986. And we will review any triple net investment for you within 24 hours for $299 and do actual physical inspection of any property in the country. Need a 72-hour at least lead time on that. And that can be very helpful if you're trying to buy a property in a 1031 exchange, you're running out of time and you're just going into a deal in a state you have no idea what's going on, and you feel that someone needs to go out and look at it. Reach out to me, the 1031 Doctor, Jordan at 1031doctor.com, and I will go out there, kick the tires, meet the planning department, do a complete area analysis on the ground, boots on the ground. Nothing is better than that. And I'll do better than Placer.ai sometimes. I'll sit there and I'll see the traffic flow for 5 to 10 hours sometimes, which is what I used to do before Placer.ai came to our shores, which has really been a game changer. Anyways, let's dive into this deal. This first one is a Meineke muffler in Austin, Texas. Now, this is on Airport Road, so it's got pretty good traffic. It was listed 5 days ago for $1,750,000. This is going to be a franchisee deal. We want to check how the strength of the franchisee. But Austin is definitely a great place to invest. We like Texas. Now, the issue with this deal is an odd-shaped lot. You're going to have a real hard time developing this property in the future, but it is a pretty good intersection, and they're saying there's some pretty good traffic here, and you've got multifamily built around it. I'm sure there was an issue with them wanting to take some of this lot, building these properties. But, when you get a pie-shaped end piece like this, that's very hard to develop. This is probably going to be your highest and best use, because the apex of this is not really usable. It's only usable for parking. Although I have seen hotels and what have you take pie-shaped deals like this, and you can build up to the property line. But it's always better to have a rectangle. You can see here's a better shot of it. This area here is basically useless, and but you've got big campus here, 870,000 square feet. That's major, and 357 apartments here. That's a pretty big apartment building. And they didn't build that just on spec. Austin is a pretty deep market. They actually overbuilt in Austin. And was smart they did, because they built all this stuff when commodity prices were a lot less. Let's look at the flyer on this. But just on this first part, you'll see $100,000 on 2,400 square feet. That's getting, a little high on the rent. Not that bad, but a 6 cap is pretty good. Now, you'll notice the lease commencement was just this month. So this must have been a sale leaseback, and now that person is selling it. So there might be an interesting story behind that. Let's open the flyer, see if there's any more information on this, better pictures. Meineke's a great little outfit. They've got quite a few stores, and they don't just do mufflers like they used to do. It used to just be Meineke mufflers in the old days, but now it's a complete car care center. And $1,750,000 is a little high for me on the price per square foot, so I don't like that. And you got a 10-year with 2 5-year options, contractual rent, fair market value of the options, which is pretty good, but you're not going to be able to replace that. That rent is, I think, a little high for this property. But for the cap rate at a 6 cap is not bad. No right of first refusal, complete full roof replacement in 2019. So roof and structure, landlord responsibility. So this is not a true triple net deal. This is a double net deal. So I think that should be probably a 7 cap. So I think they're a little off on their numbers, but they're listing it at a price they're asking, and that's their price they're asking, but it doesn't mean what it's worth. I think this property is a 7.5 cap, but I still think price per square foot's really high, and the rent is not really, I think it's above market rent, but we'd have to do a deeper dive on that one. Let's keep going. Now, this one I kind of like. This is in Belton, Missouri. Belton, outside of Kansas City, it's a really nice market. This is a brand new ground lease, a corporate Valvoline. These things are not going anywhere, and I believe you can get some bonus depreciation on these. They do have a basement, which makes them kind of expensive to build. So when you look at the cost here at $1 million, this 1,600 square foot does not include the basement, I don't believe. The five cap is a little aggressive. I would try to get this at a 6, but the price per square foot is really low. And I mean, the $1 million price point is pretty low. The land is probably going to be pretty expensive. 4 or 5 year options. Let's see, rent bumps, and you got a corporate guarantee. It's a ground lease. It's publicly traded, 10% rent increases every 5 years, 64,000 cars. It's in a dense infill area adjacent to a Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, Marshalls, Price Chopper. Now, the demographics, here's what I like. 5 mile radius, population of 65,000. It's kind of low, but this is a bedroom community. But a household income of 128,000. That's pretty good. This is a really nice area. And I don't think this is so this is an out parcel to a Price Chopper. Not bad. Located high income suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. You know, I lived in Kansas City for several years, or actually quite a while, almost a decade to tell you the truth. You got 19,000 cars per day, and that's just right below my minimum. When you get into these smaller towns, under 20,000, you got to be careful. But Belton's a really nice place. I would try to get a better cap rate, maybe offer 900,000 for this thing. Just listed 4 days ago, not a bad deal at all. Let's keep going. Okay, now this one is in California, and you know I really don't like pushing deals in California, even though I've been a broker in California for 40 years. I just try to invest in red states now. California is a really difficult place to invest in, and you have to really know the ins and outs. But for this type of use, car wash, you can't go wrong with car washes, especially when you got 50,000 cars per day at the intersection. Now, people say, oh, this is Orange County. Well, yeah, but it's Santa Ana, Orange County. And Santa Ana is not the greatest place in the world. And it's kind of a low income, trashy place. Excuse my degradation of Santa Ana. But there's a couple of nice parts of Santa Ana. This one is probably in an average part of Santa Ana, but there's some also real ghetto parts of Santa Ana you would not want to invest in. But the price point on this is 6 million. It's a pretty substantial price point, but like I said, you've got an intersection of 50,000 cars per day. Raceway car washes, they have about 50 locations in a couple of states. So I think the tenant's pretty good. There's a disclaimer. And you got a 23,000 foot lot, which means if they go, you could probably fit something else on it. But this is going to be there for a while. The cap rate at 5.35, I think, is too low. I would offer a 6 cap on this. And but the scheduled gross income, 326,000. I think they could make that rent about 30,000 a month, which is about 1,000 a day. And this car wash is definitely doing 1,000 a day with this kind of traffic. And you can see that this is probably doing 5,000 a day based on 50,000 cars, and the percentage that we usually allocate to traffic might be a little more than that. So they're making some money. They're not killing it over there. Now with these deals, they depreciate the hell out of these deals the first 5 years. So when you buy them brand new, they do really, really well for 5 years, and then they sort of tail off and stabilize about half of what they initially did. And then what happens is you'll get other car washes. If there's any openings for car washes, you'll have them get built around it, and it'll start killing it. So there's a lot of infighting in that business, and over market share. Now, First Street, not a bad street. You got a Chevron Extra Mile here, and here's your Raceway. New Hope is not a lot of traffic, but First Street definitely has some good traffic, and it's a very good location for a car wash, to tell you the truth. So yeah, it definitely major population in California. It's much different than anywhere in the country, really. You're dealing high density neighborhoods here. And this, these new tunnel car washes, they're very popular all across the country. And I'm sure this will do well. 30,000 a month is not pennies, and price per square foot is obviously very high. So you're paying a premium for this, but that's what happens in the car wash. So here's Raceway, yeah, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and California, 45 locations, loyal monthly customers, and headquartered in Phoenix. And yeah, this is your typical car wash deal. I would like to get this for much less than what they're asking. $6 million. Like I said, I think this is about a $5 million deal. So we want to get this at about a six and a quarter. There's 11 locations in California. But this, like I said, okay, so here's the demographics. Here's a little more demographics. 300,000 in a 3-mile radius. And they're not showing what the household income is. I'll tell you, it's not that much in Santa Ana, unfortunately. Let's see if we can find a little more on the demographics. No, that's going to be it. Anyways, the 1031 Doctor is available. You can submit your properties at 1031doctor.com. And I'll get right back to you. And if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate it. The automotive, in general, the automotive industry is pretty much AI proof, and not necessarily recession proof, but for instance, tire stores, quick lubes, mechanic shops, car washes, especially tire stores. They're not going anywhere. People are always going to want to wash their cars, no matter what kind of car it is. Even if it's a drone, they'll probably want to wash it. So people like to have clean vehicles. And so I don't see the car wash business getting disrupted in any way, shape, or form. Although a lot of people in the higher income areas, they do touchless car washes, but they also have mobile car washes. You'll see in Beverly Hills and in West LA and Santa Monica, the car washes are not doing as well because people in that kind of demographic, they have someone show up at their house with all their equipment and everything like that. So if you walk through Beverly Hills, you'll see the car wash trucks, the vans, detailers show up in droves, just like the mobile pet wash. You'll see the lines of vans heading to West LA and Beverly Hills. So I don't think you have to worry about the car wash industry going bye-bye. So that they make great 1031 exchanges. And if you're in a 1031 exchange and you're running out of time, you can also check into DSTs. There's a couple of people I would recommend to get into DSTs. And another thing that we're going to talk about in other videos are oil and gas royalties, working interests, and mineral rights. This is a great way to complete a 1031 exchange, especially for extra boot. I'll show you how you can acquire oil and gas royalties that are actually good, and how to analyze them, and how to make bids on them, and what have you. So have a great day. This is 1031 Doctor signing out, and please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much.